want to get Jamie. We can have her look for that contract later. Let's move along with the meeting, okay?
Yeah, it does say here that the contract goes from November 9th, 2024 until July 31st, 2024. And terminating, oh, this must be an old contract.
I found one and expired in July of 25, but that's all I
Is that
found.
what that one is?
Yeah, that's what I've got.
So,
You're gonna tell me the contract's never been updated?
Could be. Yeah.
We gotta go back in the minutes when we did this then. Because I know we did, it's automatically, what, a 3 or 4% increase for the year.
Yeah, and then there's also a fuel surcharge in there, which he has not been charging us so far.
Okay.
Was there anything in regards to renewal or notice of renewal?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, we talked about an option to renew, but I would assume, like any contract, the option is for both parties.
Right. But you don't wonder if there's anything in the contract that's under that.
I think it's an old contract. I don't think it's the right ones.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's do a little digging. We'll address that again when we get down to the road report, okay? Planning Commission, there was no Planning Commission meeting until next week, so there's nothing there. So there's no permits or anything to approve, except for these here for events at the county fair. Rather than sitting here and signing everything in that tonight,
Well, just read them off what they are.
this one is for one day liquor or whatever.
For the fair.
Yep, another one for another day liquor.
Okay.
This one is for raffle. Assembly of large number of people.
Again, fairgrounds.
Yep. This is all over there. This is for large assembly again. Large assembly. So that's all stuff for the fair.
I'll make a motion to approve, if you guys are okay with this. To approve
Is there
all.
fees?
Remember
Remember we talked
Yeah,
about
I know
fees
we did.
the last meeting?
I know I seen a letter in here, something about a couple of them where we did not charge in the past or whatever. But, when we go through these, we'll make sure if there is, that fees are charged or whatever. But, so,
So I'll make a motion to approve all the fair permits with any applicable fees.
okay. Motion's been made, is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Brian seconds the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. So I'll be over sometime tomorrow, and Jaylene and I can sign everything. I know there's some places in here where clerk signs, some places where I sign. And then we'll see who owes us money and who doesn't, okay? So that's that. Sandy, public comment.
Okay, I have two things quickly. June 25th, Minor Watershed Joint Powers Board, they talked about here, Organization Stewardship Grant Program Guidelines, which is slow-growing turf grass, which saves money on chemicals and saves money on mowing grass all the time. We have nothing in the budget this year. Going forward, this may be something we may just want to look at. There's all kinds of information here. I tried sending this to you, Pete, and it said your mailbox was very full or something. I couldn't, but at the time you had a death in the family, so I didn't want to. So I wanted to give you this information. You can call me about it, or there's information as to who to call in there. Also, the only other thing I really wanted to bring up was the plumbers union, through the Labor and Industry Board of the state of Minnesota, is trying to push through more permits over county drainage, storm drainage stuff that they have to do and whatever. And one of the guys said there was some kind of storm drainage, culvert and whatever, and they normally just come and put with a pipe that they need to put in, which is a very small thing. The state made them get a permit for this for the first time ever. They said they don't know why the plumbers union is doing this. They think it's too much government overreach. So several of the huge environmental organizations and county organizations are watching this very closely to make sure that it probably does never get pushed through. But this is some of the stuff that they said the pipe fitters union wants this, whatever's going on. And 3M, PFAS, directly related to what's going on in Hastings right now, which they have to do they did a huge reverse osmosis. Now they're building a new water tower. They're doing all kinds of things to clean their water, etc. The Ninninger Township well has PFAS in it now. So that's kind of what's been going on in the county.
Okay. While we're on public comment, I think this is the time I'm going to do it anyhow. I just want to make everybody aware, as of 5 o'clock yesterday, our clerk handed her resignation to the township. So at this moment, we are without a clerk. We have Jaylene, our treasurer, and office assistant taking over at the moment. So we will be talking about that later, but I want to just make it clear that, like I said, at 5 o'clock yesterday, she sent a resignation to all of us. So I just want to make that announcement. With that, we're on to the treasurer's report, Jaylene.
Okay, the receipts were $1,000. Current investments are $876,000. Oh, I typed that wrong. Sorry, I'll have to double check that. Oh, $876,536.50. I got the decimal in the wrong place. That's the zero. Sorry about that. We did get the Dakota County payment for $217,383.03. We have a CD at Premier Bank that is up for renewal tomorrow, worth $76,130.73.
The interest rate on that CD, Jaylene, is at what right now?
I believe that was at 3 I have it on my desk. I do not quite remember off the top of my head.
That's pretty close, at least anyhow we know.
Okay.
Okay.
And I did include in your packets, I reached out to a few other banks just to see what their CD rates were. So you should have those. You should have like one from Vermilion, one from Castle Rock Bank, and then I believe I put together a sheet with a few other ones, like a Midwest, Royal Credit Union, I believe, was in there.
Okay, I did look at all of those in that too, and I know the one from Vermilion just came in. The only two that are competitive is Castle Rock Bank and Vermilion Bank. They're both for 12 months for 4%. Everybody else is lower than that. So,
I know David said he paid the 4.1. And I agree, it's not on here, but I know that last time when I talked to him on that last CD,
well,
he bumped it up to
we just got these new
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah.
Because when I found out that this isn't the Premier Bank and it was only 3%, I asked Jaylene to reach out to them all later.
Sure.
You know, and so she did. And like I said, they're at 4%, Vermilion's at 4%, and everybody else is lower. I mean, when we're looking at 1% more than where it currently is. I think it's time to move it. So I'm looking for a motion to what you guys think we should do.
We already have money in Castle Rock Bank.
We got everything else in Castle Rock. I don't know, there's, some people don't like it that we have everything in one bank.
Well, since this is
It-
just a small portion of it,
Well, the other thing is, it's not a CD that's, say it's being taken away from the Castle Rock Bank, it's coming out of another bank.
right? That's I'd offer, make a motion to put it into Vermillion Bank.
Okay, so a motion has been made by Brian to move this money to Vermillion Bank. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Pete seconds it. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Jerry will be opposed. I believe we should keep the money in our local bank that's in our community and employs our residents.
Okay. But motion carries. This expires tomorrow, Jaylene?
Yes, it does, so I'll have to go tomorrow.
Okay. You gonna be able to get this taken care of?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I'll do it somewhere, somehow, throw my day out.
Okay.
Quick.
Okay.
Where's the Vermillion in Rosemont, or is it in Vermillion? I gotta look and see.
The main branch is in Vermillion, but I guess you could do it to either one of them.
Okay,
I mean, I'll be over here to sign this stuff and that tomorrow.
okay, so we'll figure it out
I
then.
was gonna say, if you wanna, whichever way you wanna go, we'll work something out, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So that took care of the CD part, but we still have the rest of the treasurer's report here. Current investments and stuff in that, and as Jaylene said, we got the county payment. And then it shows the Premier Bank renewal and the CD rates. Payroll, we only have, well, we got quite a few checks, right?
Yes,
Yes.
we had lots of checks,
Yes.
big ones this time.
So is there a motion to approve the payroll and then we'll do the claims?
We're not, on payroll, do we have those, the pay of our past clerk and the hours?
Do we have that in there?
That is not included in this right now, we'll do checks tomorrow for that.
So we're not approving that tonight?
We should be approving it now, right? Will that check be paid tomorrow?
It goes out on the 15th. Yeah, today's the 14th, so I didn't run it.
We're gonna need a copy of that if we could.
You want a copy of it?
Of her invoice in that area, we could. You had it this morning.
You want just her, like, time card that she gave me this morning?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I say, I know some of you guys may think we're maybe a little bit unorganized tonight because this was just dropped on us last night, so we don't have a date to go into this. This is,
That is her from the first till yesterday's
Okay.
hours.
from the 7/1 to 7/13. She's worked every day from 8:30 to 5. She's got a total of 50 and a half hours. I'll let everybody look at it.
On the 13th, yesterday was 9 hours, 8 o'clock to 5.
Okay?
At least that's what it says
Right, excuse me, yeah.
So the first to the 13th, that'd be 2 weeks then, almost.
Yeah.
So it's not 51 hours in 1 week,
It's 6 days.
6 days.
6 days. No.
Can I see
Well,
that
she
again,
works-
Brian, when you're done?
Because she's only supposed to be here 4 days a week, so therefore it'd be part of the week and a couple days in the next week.
So it's from, I gotta get a calendar.
Here, I got a calendar here, I'll pull them up.
Yep, I got one. The 1st to the 13th.
2 weeks.
She worked the 1st, not the 2nd or the 3rd. Right, 4th.
Didn't work the 4th.
No,
She took the 2nd off?
Yep,
there's, yeah,
yeah, she took the 2nd and 3rd off.
Okay.
first to the 13th. So it is,
I mean, Brian's right, it's 6 days.
it,
So she had the 1st, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, and 13th. I'm assuming she didn't work on the 10th.
She has not been working Fridays.
no.
So that'd be
That I
So
know.
it's basically almost like 2 weeks, because it's half the month.
Yeah, it's half the month, but there was a lot of days where she was off, so it's 6, over, she got 51 hours in over 6 days.
So, okay, with that being said, you're gonna include that with the rest of the stuff here. Is this check been made out, Nicole?
No, she must have got a check before that after our last meeting. We're missing some days there.
She got a check for the 30th, through the 31st.
Yeah, at the end of what, at the
Last
end,
week.
Yep,
Okay.
because we got paid the,
And how many hours are on that one? Or don't we know?
I don't know.
I forget right offhand, there was a total, what, on her last payment, do you know, off the last?
Because we
It was
just-
I wanna say it was 50 hours too, just like this would have been.
right, I believe
Yeah, it
so.
was real close.
Because we didn't see that at our last meeting.
Right.
And
It
she's
was available.
She was approved for about
35.
35
Yeah.
Per week. Per week.
Correct.
So she only worked 15 2 weeks. So she's not over. True?
only 6 days.
What was the last pay period?
It ended at 31st.
But when did it start?
The 15th.
16?
The 16th,
Is that all
the
that works?
16th through the
Yeah, they,
31st.
So they're 2 week intervals.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Then I think it's good.
Okay.
It's 2 week intervals.
Okay.
Plus, the other thing is, I think there's some state laws on payroll that it's gotta be paid in a timely manner, or we can get jammed up on that if we're gonna dispute this, I think we almost have to pay it and then dispute it, and like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
You can, I looked that up today, you can dispute it.
But you
Okay.
still have to pay it and then dispute? You can hold back pay?
Yeah. Because the contract we gave her was 35 hours a week.
Oh, okay. That would make sense.
So, does anybody want to dispute
Well, it's really for 2 weeks, right?
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But would it cost us more
It
to go
costs-
through that
yes,
process?
I agree.
It will. Just take it out, be done with it, move forward.
That's where I am too.
I agree.
An attorney, got 100, whatever an hour.
It'll be a lost cause.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're not flirting with overtime or anything, are we?
No.
No.
40 hours.
So, okay. So I'll leave that as is. So is there a motion to approve the payroll first?
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll, Brian.
Motion's been made by Brian, is there a second?
Jerry Larson, second.
Second's been made. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Well carried. The claims, We have a lot of them, I think you guys seen them all. There's some big bills coming this month, $93,000 worth. But we gotta pay the bills.
Must be the fire contract.
Fire contract's a big part of it.
Yeah, yeah. So, is there a motion to accept the claims report?
Jerry Larson will make the motion to approve the claims.
Motion's been made, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded by Pete. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Motion carried. Now we need, Jaylene needs an approval to take some money out of our savings to cover the bills. But do we have to do that now because we got the payment from, the county, Jaylene?
Well, okay, so
Or
the
you-
payment
you
from,
put that in the
the
savings?
payment from the county directly goes into our savings account.
Okay,
So in order to, I need approval to pull it from the savings and get it into our checking
Okay.
so that these bills can go.
okay.
I'll make a motion for Jaylene to pull the amount needed out of savings to cover our bills.
I'd like you put the amount,
Oh, sorry,
if you would.
95,000
Okay,
to cover bills,
okay.
right?
Is there a second?
Jerry Larson will second.
Jerry seconds it. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, so Jaylene, you have the approval to pull that money, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Presentations, I don't believe you have anything tonight. Road, hang on one moment. We have you in the audience. I want to take care of you, so I'm sitting here all day.
Go ahead.
Okay, and how can we help you?
I talked to Russ Zelmer. We had a thing for a conditional use permit that, for the winery,
Okay,
so, it's one of those things where we were trying different things out. No one anticipated that one event was gonna explode the way it is. If I would have known it was gonna be that crazy, I would have gotten the conditional use permit right away.
well, I mean, it's not a surprise because when you guys came to get the permits to fix up the buildings to do this, you were told you needed permits before you move on. So, what, you got a letter, I know you weren't surprised about it.
No, 100%.
You knew it was coming. So how can we help you tonight? I mean,
So I've got the paperwork in, but we haven't got the approval for it, and I would like to do an event that was scheduled on Saturday. I am covered through, Warner Insurance in Hampton for event insurance. I've got all the coverage that I possibly need. It's not gonna be a very big event,
do you know how big it's gonna be?
maybe 100 people.
When did you submit it,
Submit what?
your conditional use for that?
A week ago,
He is on the
He's on
planning
the planning
commission for
commission.
Monday.
but it's not until the 20th.
Monday.
He's got to go to the planning commission and they'll have to set up a special hearing and everything for him and that. So he's operating without permits, let's put
So
it
it kind of can be a slippery slope for
the future.
the future. If you let him do it, how come I can't do it?
So I guess what you're asking for is approval to go ahead and have this event Saturday, right?
Yep. If I could, please.
What's your guys' opinion?
Kind of like with Brian, you know, I mean, it's like, so does everybody that comes in just,
I think it's a slippery slope that I don't know that we want to start going down because it kind of sets a precedent for future issues like this. I mean, it's not on us that,
Didn't get a
we have nothing to do with his schedule when he schedules events, but they're aware of what our ordinances are, so.
Comments, Pete?
I think the board usually does not allow people to operate without permits on anything else. So I think if we're gonna stay consistent,
I think that's important.
agreeing with everybody else. You did know that you were gonna need a permit. And I heard different reports, supposedly your last event, you had quite a few people. 1 minute, Sandy.
Just the cow event, we had a bunch of people, and we never anticipated that pet sip event. We haven't had a lot of people, like the most we've really had is like 40 or 50 people. And it's just trying to figure out what works, what doesn't, before we actually say we're committed to these are 100% events. I mean, they're events, but they're more just trial and error.
They are, but we told you that when you start making the wine and selling it, that you needed permits. You even have on your website that you're selling it through all these other places. So you've been doing this for a while without permits.
What do you mean, I need a permit to sell it to liquor stores?
You're running a business, are you not?
Yeah, but I've got all that through the Department of Agriculture, right?
Yeah, you did, but you gotta come through us too to run your business. That's why you need an IUP or a CUP.
So the CUP covers me selling it through other places.
Yeah,
So through, okay, I didn't know that.
you know, I mean, you're having people come, you advertise that you have tasting events and stuff in that. You have people coming to your property and that requires a permit.
Okay.
So is there a motion, one way or another here, to let him have his event? Or do you want to deny it and say, okay, Sandy, before I do this?
I just wanted to say, he could reschedule his event until he got his conditional use permit. Is there any way you can reschedule this event?
Yeah, no.
That would have to be up to you to talk to those people then, because if you don't have the proper permits,
Well, I'm fine with it. If the board says no, I'll proceed with canceling all my events. I'll go through the right channels. I would just, I knew what you guys said, and then maybe I just misconstrued how it was said. And when we talked about it a year and a half ago, it was more or less trying to get my business up and running. And in order for me to get my business up and running, I would need to sell. And that was how I was getting that license from the state of Minnesota and the Department of Agriculture. I had to get 4 different licenses. So I guess maybe that was just my misunderstanding of the rules and whatnot. I'm not trying to overstep any bounds. I want to be 100% on board legally with everything. The amount of hoops I've had to jump through just to get this to the point it is, I'm not against it, and I want to do everything the correct way.
I'm not denying that, but like I say, we have our rules too.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. I want to know what is 100%. So if you guys say no, I will 100% cancel, shut everything down until then.
So you are on the agenda for the planning commission next meeting then?
On the 20th.
Okay,
Just making sure you apply for the appropriate permits then.
right.
But yeah, that's the other thing, is I want to make sure I got all the appropriate permits. So when I filed the conditional use permit, I put basically an outline letter of what I was intending on doing.
Okay,
And most of it is intending, so the Department of Agriculture won't let me have brick and mortar hours.
okay.
I'm allowed to have 10 events according to Department of Health standards and all this other stuff, because I'm not willing to put a full kitchen in
Okay.
that barn. It's just crazy the amount of money that I need to spend in order to do what they're asking me to do. And I want to be an agriculture tourism kind of thing, if anything. I do not want to be a commercial winery. I don't want to be one of these brew pubs in the cities. I want to be the smallest farm winery I possibly can in order just to make a living as far as doing this.
Okay.
I'm not trying to make millions out of this.
Right.
I got an acre of grapes.
So what IUP or CUP?
I was just gonna say, I don't know if they recommended an IUP or a CUP. I don't know which one you filed for.
I filed for a CUP because that was what was recommended through that letter.
just gonna say, a conditional use permit means if you sold your winery, you sold your land, that the next person automatically gets it as a conditional use permit. Now,
If it's an IUP, it's yours. It could be transferred if you want to, but if you don't want it to have it, say you sell your property,
Yeah,
and you don't want the business to go on, you can stop. We prefer to have IUPs nowadays.
and if that's what you guys want, then that's 100%, I'll do that, I don't have any issue with it.
I mean,
I don't intend on selling it, I mean, my parents own the property right now, and I'm renting it from
Yeah.
them.
Sure.
I mean, when the planning commission sets up your special meeting, they'll just say if it's an IUP or a CUP, because you'll have to have a special hearing. Because the neighbors around will be notified and stuff like that, you know, and then it comes back to us. You know, if you're in a fast hurry, you wanna move it along, you can do that, set up a special hearing, otherwise it's be a month from now when they have their next meeting after this.
Yeah.
But you pay quite a bit for the meetings, you know?
No, I read the letter and
Okay.
the amount, I went on the website to figure out those
Okay.
special meetings, stuff like that. So, yeah,
Okay,
I'm not against paying any of this stuff, that kind of stuff, I just wanna make sure I know the rules.
okay.
When I started this whole business with the state of Minnesota, no one told me that I had to go through the Department of Agriculture. And I went through and did almost everything I needed to do to get my license.
Yep.
And then I got all the way to the top and they're like, oh, by the way, you need to go through the Department of Agriculture. And then, so I started doing that with him, with the state inspector, and he's like, hey, so what did the township say? And I was like, well, we talked to them, but they know about it. Do you got a letter from them? No.
No.
So, I mean, so every time this just set the business back another
Okay.
year or 6 months, so.
Well, we're not trying to do that here. We're gonna try to get this through as fast as we can, okay?
No, I
But
appreciate it.
it'll be the next meeting, and then they could set up a meeting in between there, and then by their next meeting, they could approve you or whatever, and that, because you had your meeting in that before that, so.
Now, back to the other question, because I do have a question about that. So when I got that first letter that you guys said, and it said about us making the wine, now, I guess I'm confused on that. Like, if I'm making the wine, wouldn't I be selling the wine?
Do you have people coming there buying from you?
They buy online and pick it up. The transaction's all done through the internet.
But they're still coming to your properties, that's the point.
So as long as I don't have anyone come to the property to buy the wine, I can still bring it to the liquor stores, because I do my own deliveries. And I'm licensed through the state to do it. I've got all that.
Would you say you'd be allowed to do that?
I think that's okay. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that you're okay with it.
I'd say you can continue doing that,
Yeah.
but
Continue doing what, delivering it?
Yeah.
delivering it, yes.
I always understood as long as the public ain't coming there,
Right.
you're good.
You're good.
Yeah, that's always been our understanding.
But if you're having events and stuff and that, which you want to continue to do, you're gonna have the permit.
Yeah, the state, like I said, the state will only allow me to do 10 events a year. The
Okay.
impact is not gonna be huge, I'm not gonna be open. I would like to be open Saturday and Sunday in the future. I mean, we may talk 2-3 years.
Right,
I
well, that's a different license than you can have more events.
Yeah, so what you guys are saying, so if I do a conditional use permit, it covers those 10, and then whatever else I do there, or as far as the online pick up the store, that will cover all that? Or we just gotta discuss with the planning,
Well, like I say, I would prefer you get an IUP, not a CUP.
or IUP,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
Is the cost the same?
yeah,
Yes.
I mean, yes, everything's the same. It's just a little different wording and stuff in that. Like I say, the CUP stays with the property.
Okay.
The IUP is yours.
Alright.
You know, there's the difference.
No, I appreciate it. I need this information because no one else was given it.
Right. You know, I mean, yeah, the IUP gives us a little bit more. Say you would have an event and things go hog wild, we could close you down. It'd be a lot easier to close you down on an IUP than it is a CUP. But we're not expecting that from you, you know? So I mean, and IUPs are just easier to operate.
Yeah.
They are.
for a better understanding, I think our ordinances are online yet, are they not?
I believe so.
So you might want to read the ordinances for a CUP and an IUP.
Alright.
But discuss it with the planning commission, okay? And then set your date for your special hearing, and then you can have your hearing and then approve it the next meeting.
Yeah,
And
we'll do that.
then we're just like a week after that, so. They're having their meeting next Monday. You're about 5 weeks out, 6 weeks at the most, you could have everything done.
So it'd be for next year then?
No, what do you mean for next year?
I don't, by the time I get this done, it'll be what, August?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the season.
okay,
That's fine. I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
okay.
I should have planned different. I got it done.
But like Pete says, if you wanna, you can deliver it, you can still continue doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll continue pushing my business, my wholesale, what I've been doing.
Okay, you can continue doing that.
Honestly, the retail is only 15% of my business.
Okay,
Like, the majority of my business is to the liquor stores.
okay,
And that's kind of where I want to be anyway, because as far as the Department of Agriculture, my primary license is manufacturing.
okay,
It's not retail sales. I'm a portion retail sales. I still have to fall under the inspector. So I have to have a retail inspector from the Department of Agriculture come out, the Department of Health come out, and the Department of Retail Sales for Department of Agriculture. All inspect me, but my license comes through
okay,
Department of Agriculture Manufacturing.
okay,
And I believe in that packet I showed all 4 licenses that I have.
okay. And do you have the fees paid for your hearing and that already, or?
I didn't pay any of the special hearing fees. I only paid because I didn't know I had to do a special hearing. I was just told that I need to be on the planning commission for the 20.
Okay, so you're just.
I paid the $1,050 for the CUP, which I guess is the same as I.
IUP, so you did pay that already?
Yep.
Okay, so you're on for that, so you're already paid up for your special hearing already then?
All right.
Okay. So go to the planning commission, they'll help you through it, and then you come back and see us. Any questions?
No, I don't think so. Are there any other questions that you guys have with me?
Well, like I say, we're not gonna let you have the event.
That's fine. I understand. And I know that my parents are the property owners. These are my business cards. I'm from Castle Rock, graduated Farmington. I'm not trying to burn my hometown, basically. I'm not trying to burn bridges here. I came 20 years in the military, I came back, and this is what I want to do. I want to stay here.
We appreciate the business, we just gotta get a permit for it.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
You know, I mean, we gotta try to treat everybody alike.
No, I appreciate your honesty, and that's, I was coming here to see what I could get, what I couldn't get.
Okay,
If I could get it, cool. If I can't get it, oh well.
okay.
If, I will say though that, I will have a band playing, it'll be a private party now.
That's fine.
Because the whole reason we picked this date is because I have a band of mine that I used to have in Kentucky, and this is the one day of the year that my buddies all come up. And so we kind of said, well, why don't we do a music event for your winery?
You're sure welcome to do that.
So just in case anyone's like, oh, I still have that.
So long it's not a real large event, otherwise.
No, it's not gonna be, I will never do that cow thing again. Whatever happened in that, for whatever reason, someone leaked it to KEWP and they put it on the air.
Oh, you're kidding.
I did not know, and everyone put online that says, well, you should have known you had this much interest. Well, I've had that much interest in other events before and only 30 people come out.
And how many did you have at this one?
I don't know, it's enough that there was cars down the street and I was just trying to survive. I know that I've had half of Russ Zelmer's family bailing me out. Anyone that said, hey, you look like you're drowning, can I help you? I was like, yeah, sure, cool, whatever, help me. Park cars, run water, help keep the cows alive so they don't die on us, so.
Okay.
If we ever do it again, we're restricting it to ticketed events, so it'll be next year.
Okay.
After I get all this stuff.
But it was a success.
It was a learning lesson. I don't know if it was a success, it was a learning lesson. I appreciate it, guys.
Okay, thank you much. Okay. So, where were we before this?
Presentations.
There you go, thank you.
But I got a question, did you approve the treasurer report? I know you approved to transfer the money.
We never did.
We approved payroll, we approved.
Okay, is there a motion to approve Treasurer's report.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Pete, is there a second?
Jerry Larson, second.
So Jerry seconds it, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Motion carried. Yes, we did, Julie.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. We have presentations, I suppose, let's put Sam there, okay, with this here stuff?
Okay.
Sure. That okay with you guys?
Sure.
So you wanna explain everything, Sam, where we are, where we're not, and all that?
Yep. I'm just writing notes on that. You want me to come over there or do it from here so I can watch the...
I guess it's up to you,
I'll do it from here so I can watch this and make sure it's still working.
okay?
All right, quick run through. So I'll start with the biggest pain in the rear, host pop-up. I have attempted twice now to move the domain away from host pop-up. We are currently in a 60-day registration lock. The whole reason that came around is they had the wrong information. We updated it, and apparently, on their terms and conditions, which is different from other ones, when you update the registered contact information, they do not give you an option of deferring the 60-day register lock for a domain. It is automatic. I am currently waiting to hear back from them on support tickets to see if we can get that removed so we can get that transferred over and get that done and be completely done with them because that's the last thing that we have with them. Once I hear back from them, that's where I can let everyone know if we're moving forward right away or if I have to wait the full 60 days before we can get that off of there. So there's that. Email. There was like 4 things on emails there. The biggest thing being Brian, Pete, and Russ. Have you guys gotten into your emails yet, or are you still having issues getting into them? I have not heard.
Since I spoke to you on the phone,
Yep.
it's been working great. I've been getting emails, you've been getting my emails, Jenny? You're able to commute back, or?
You say yours.
Yep, I'll give it I believe I got a password from Nick here. Give it a shot tomorrow, or we gotta do a new password.
Perfect. I did go in and update the system.
Yep.
You should now be able to request a change of password in the Microsoft thing without having to have me reset it.
Okay,
Um,
because last time I couldn't do that. It wouldn't let you.
Yep, and
Yep.
after last meeting, I went in right away and I made that change, and it should be good on that now.
Perfect.
Microsoft changed their admin portal, so all those things went to a whole separate portal that I finally got into. And then, Russ, thank you, I can't see his name tag, I'm blanking on it. Russ, I have not heard anything from. I'm going to make the assumption if you were able to get in, he should be able to. Pete, if you have issues still, you've got my number, just shoot me a text and let me know and we'll walk through it. And then, any of you see Russ next, if someone wants to check with him, and if he's having issues, just,
Try it.
huh?
Ask him to try it.
Yep, and see if he can get in. Yep, so there's that. Passwords, last week we updated the computer passwords from when Jordan had changed all of them, so they are changed. We'll change them again in the clerk one after today, so that's updated.
If you do that tonight before you leave.
Yep, I've got a couple things I need to do in the office tonight anyways when we're done with the meeting for tech stuff, so.
So you're gonna hang around a little bit?
I'll
Well,
be
maybe
around.
I'll try my
Yep, that's what I was just
email.
thinking.
If you're around tonight,
Yep.
after the meeting, we can take a look at it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Clerk stuff, I went through most of the stuff since I was notified this morning of Nikki resigning and have made changes so that that's all updated. I have all that information. I will be giving that to whoever you would like me to give that information to, the new password and stuff like that. So, office computers, they are talking to each other. We have them shared through OneDrive. As far as I know, that's been going well.
I think so, other than there's some, like I was talking this morning, Molly's old emails and stuff,
Yeah.
I cannot get, and I think there's still stuff on her computer I'm not getting, that I don't have options to look at.
Yeah, so some of the stuff on the computers, it wouldn't let me share in specific folders. And I know those ones, I think they're like more like the private setting on that one. And some stuff may have been saved by mistake, we can move that to wherever we need to. I'll also make sure that you have the new password for the computer once it changes, so that you can get it to grab documents if there's anything you need in the meantime. As for Molly's stuff, that's all in Outlook. That is separate from the OneDrive stuff, so we can go in and take a look at that, because that's a whole other can of worms that I was hoping we didn't have to open. The clerk email, there were 2 iterations before the current one that were both set up on personal Microsoft accounts before the township got the Microsoft account from Host Papa, and it was on the previous Host Papa email server. It looked like everything had been moved over there when everything was done. We are finding some emails on Molly's old accounts did not transfer, but they have not been needing access to until now. So I will be taking a look to see which of the old email addresses that it was set up on, those are in, and make sure those are transferred post-haste. Last thing I got is also in the new business, and that's the Wi-Fi update. I actually don't have the numbers. Do you have the numbers on you, or I was going to come up with an email essentially? Cool. Wi-Fi. So after last meeting, I called up Southwest Internet, Southeast, Southeast. Southeast Internet, who you guys have for your internet service provider, and checked in with them. Let them know, hey, we've been having some issues with the internet. Here's what the issues have been. What plan are they on? What options are there available? Things like that. To make a very long conversation with them short, you guys are on the cheapest plan that's available at 25 megabytes per second. For reference, most households have a minimum of 100 to 200 megabytes per second, and most businesses have between 500 to a gig. You are slower than CenturyLink when it was 20 years old. So I would highly recommend updating that. I'm pulling up the numbers now. I just got to find the email I sent to Jay Lee on that. But I did get some options for upgrading, and they're not anywhere as bad as I thought they were going to be. Currently, it's 25 megabytes per second at $60 per month. They would be able to upgrade it to 100 megabytes per second for $85 per month. And that is with the current equipment that you have on the building.
Okay.
If you wish to go faster than that, I don't think you need to. I think for what the office does and what everything does here, going from 25 to 100, 4 times the speed, would be more than enough for what you need to have done in here. If you wish to go higher than that, they can get you up to 150. It would just require new equipment and possibly having a line buried to get a pole out there so you can have a different antenna line of sight, because everything they do is line of sight. My recommendation would be to move to the 100 megabytes per second at $85 per month. It's a $15 increase, $25, let me do math correctly, $25 increase from what you are currently paying. However, it would help with speeds in here, it would help with the live stream being more stable. It's working tonight, it's a little bit finicky because the connection's not the best. And honestly, you get more than 5 devices in here on the Wi-Fi or anything like that, you're already going to be logging everything down, because 25 megabytes per second is absolutely nothing compared to what these devices are using.
So before you go on, I'd like to see if we can get a motion on this, that we go from the 60 to the 85.
Well, I wanted to ask you, so what, any additional cost to change it to 100?
Nope. Everything would be just the $25 per month. There's no additional cost from what they told me, and no equipment change. The moment that they are called and told to do it, it is done within 5 to 10 minutes of that phone call.
Is there any other companies out there that we have available for competitiveness, or?
In the area, not that I could easily find. I did take a look at a couple just for putting in an address and doing stuff like that, not a whole lot that popped up. I also want to check with the Southeast to see what they had. For where you guys are located at, being much more rural than a lot of other providers offer, and given the fact that this is who you've had for a while, I would stay with them for the time being, go to the $85 a month at the 100 megabytes per second. It would definitely be worth shopping around, seeing what else could be found. In the interim of having information on that, I would highly recommend doing that just to get you guys better internet and have better connectivity, especially because of the live streaming that we're doing on these meetings.
What are the cancellation requirements if we wanted to switch over to a different company or something, is there, can we all give them like a 30, 60, 90 days or?
Did not ask on that. My assumption would be probably a 30-day cancellation. That's something we'd have to call up and check though. Most internet companies, most ISPs, usually it's a 30-day or less. Residential, you don't even need that. You just tell them, hey, I want to cancel at the end of your month that you paid for, it's done. On the business side of things, because I haven't looked at the contract for this one specifically, I can't say what it is.
But
In my experience, most of them that I've worked with, you call up and tell them you're done at the end of the month and they take care of that.
is there any of their equipment on site that if we were to
Yes.
switch in the future?
Yes, there is the antenna, which I have no idea where it's at in the building. I think it's in that corner. And then there is a small black box, but you want it to Ubiquiti Internet Service Provider device. That is their modem that they use for internet coming in. That will go to them as well. Just those two things of equipment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what about, I see a lot of people around here have Northfield Wi-Fi. Are they compatible or, I mean, price and speed or?
Thinking my words carefully here. Only because I've dealt with Northfield Wi-Fi enough times where, are they good? Yes. They can be they can be a pain in the butt to deal with on some days, and they do have fees for the equipment, they have fees for installation. They run very similar to Southeast in that they are line of sight. As for cost, we had them when I was on staff at Little Prairie Church in Dundas, also rural, out in the country. We were paying $75 a month for 50 gigs. And we never saw that full 50. Or not 50 gigs, sorry, 50 megabytes per second. Talking too many terms here.
And
50
you're
megabytes
talking
per second.
100 a year for 85.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that pretty much guaranteed to be at the 100? Or is there going to be fat periods where it's going to slow down or bump down?
That I can't say. Just because I don't know the company well enough to guarantee that. What I will say is with companies similar to them with similar setups, if there's high traffic in the area, if there's stuff causing issues with line of sight, you can have some slowdown. With that being said, given that they do go up as high as 300 megabytes per second with different equipment, I can see you sitting around that 100 megabytes per second, even if it goes down to 90 or 80 megabytes per second, because visibility issues, if you have a heavy rainstorm or stuff like that with line of sight, that can cause some issues. If you have any slowdown, it's going to be a small amount, and it's going to be negligible for what you guys are doing in the office or what's going to be going in here. It's not going to be noticeable. But that's something that you'd want to check with them, and I can call up or I can give the information to whoever they can call up. But that'd be something to double check with them. Are we guaranteed that, or is there slowdown times?
I just wonder if we should recommend staying with Southwest for now, bumping it up to the 100 megabytes per second for now, and then do a
Take a look at options.
research, take some time and kind of.
Exactly.
Maybe,
Right.
I know there's other fiber companies that may come out this way with other buried cable that might open up some options.
Exactly.
Or
Is there-
here, or whoever.
Yeah, is there LTE? Is there another one around here? I've heard of
I would not touch LTD with a 30-foot pole.
Okay.
Just
I don't know much about them, I've just heard of them.
I've had to deal with them when I worked at Verizon. We dealt with them in the fact that they were one of our favorite businesses because they gave us clients. We had plenty of people who switched off of them, and people who went with them did not stay with them very long. That was on the residential side. I can't say for businesses,
Okay.
but for what for my experience, for what they charged and the service that they got, we had plenty of people in the different fields I've been in who left them rather quickly. I do not know if they've gotten any better in the last 3 to 4 years. Given the reputation they had previously, I would not want to work with them.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we do up it to the 100 megabytes per second for the 85 per month.
Okay.
And then continue kind of research for other companies since we're able to get out of the relatively quick.
Okay. Motion's been made, is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Jerry seconds it. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. So we're gonna move up.
Sounds good. Would you like me to call up and have them do that?
Yes, please.
Perfect. I will take care of that tomorrow. Okay. I'll get that taken care of. Julian, they may need to talk to you, the one who's probably listed on there for paying the bills, just to approve it, since I'm not technically listed on the account. If that's the case, I'll give you a heads up and
Okay.
have them reach out to you or vice versa.
All right, sounds good.
All right. I think that's
So
everything.
do you have anything else on
That's what I'm double checking. I think that's everything on my list.
it?
Okay.
Sam, I've got a question for you. You know,
Yes.
back when we first decided to move this direction with updating to the video feed and all that. And for the mail, I know we're on Outlook now, but could you remind, was there a reason why we didn't just go with like a Google account? Because that seems like that would have been a lot more streamlined. Not put you on the spot.
Nope. I don't mind being Johnny's spot on that one. Yes and no. I hate saying it really like that. So the reason that we've been with Microsoft at this point, when I was introduced to the township for the website stuff, that's how I got brought in for some of that stuff and started doing the tech for it. At that time, the township had just switched to Microsoft through Host Pop-Up, and that's where it had gone. With everything that had already been integrated with Microsoft, it made sense at that time to stay with it, just because of all the different other transitional bits. When I first put the proposal together for everything a year and a half ago, that was when I believe there was 1 or 2 people who were on the board that were stepping down and things were changing. It was close to when Molly was stepping down as clerk and that was switched around. So there was enough transitional stuff for transitioning that email system as well did not make sense at that time. At the moment, Microsoft, we've got that for another 10 months, I think, is on the thing. That said, at any point, if we do want to switch you guys to a different email provider, I'd be more than happy to do so. I've used Google Workspace for multiple different businesses and Township and stuff like that. Relatively easy to set up, and it has a lot of extra features, including the Teams unit we're using right now. We can do a similar thing on Google through Google Meets. So all the benefits that we've got with Microsoft. The sole exception being Microsoft Business, we have the Microsoft Office suite. So Word, PowerPoint, Excel, those kind of things, which all we have access to. It would change from that into the Google Drive suite. So Google Drive, Google Sheets, which are all web-based versus being available on the computer.
If we were to head in that direction in 10 months or whatever, what would that do for anything that's on Microsoft or File or any like the Word? You know, I know Google has their own docs and sheets and stuff.
Yeah,
The transition for like Jolene and any records or documents.
seamless, absolutely seamless.
Okay, so there's nothing, no reason in that regard.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
But Google Docs, I'll use Google Drive because Drive is their thing that holds everything. It allows opening of anything Microsoft Office in that platform, and it keeps it in the format unless you decide to save it as a Google Sheet. When it comes to things like collaborating and sharing documents and stuff like that, Google Workspace, Microsoft, once it's set up, there's a lot of stuff to do in the background. Once it's set up, it is seamless. There are more things we can do on there, we just haven't because of either cost or there hasn't been a need, but there's always things to do.
Well, maybe in time we'll grow to love Microsoft, but with the struggles we've had up to this point,
It definitely has been a pain point.
I think for now, let's just stay with Microsoft. We've got 10 months.
Yep.
Let's see how it progresses. If it gets to the point where we're comfortable with it. Otherwise, in 10 months, maybe look at making a change if we feel we need to do that.
Yeah, I would say let's revisit it in about 6 months and see how it's going. That way, if we decide to do, okay, you know, 4 months with Microsoft, we want to make a change, that 4 months gives us time to figure out everything and get it done before the bill comes due again. Otherwise, you're paying for another year. If we wait that full 10 months, then we got that time. So let's say 6 months, let's revisit that. Take a look and see, is it working or would it make sense to switch to a provider? In which case, then we can hash out the options and costs and all that and start transitioning if we need to.
Now, yep, is the live streaming through Microsoft?
Yes, the live streaming is currently through Microsoft Teams.
So do you have, so if I'm out in the public and I want to watch the meeting, do I have to have Microsoft to watch it?
Not anymore. That was an issue we had 2 weeks ago when I did or 2 weeks ago, 2 meetings ago, I did live stream. I have now embedded the live stream in the website. So if you go to the website itself and go to the town hall meeting area, I just have a button on there for the moment. But if you go to that, it'll have the live stream fully embedded. You do not have to sign in. I tested it already twice during the meeting by jumping in and out of that. And it still has the ability for people to ask questions, and it still has the captions and everything on
So
there.
you just click that button and you can watch it?
Click it, and it's right there.
Okay, good.
It's good to hear.
Yep, that's
You're
good.
welcome. And by the way, the microphones are picking up everything, including when people are asking questions out in the audience. So like when Sandy, right?
Yeah.
When she was asking questions and talking, everything came through in those microphones there. The one facing the audience, you don't have that on right now because the battery's dead on it. But for future meetings, if we turn that on, it'll catch everything a little bit more clearly.
Okay.
But I was still able to, just by listening, I was still able to hear everything, and the captions also caught it as well. So at the moment, it is working pretty well.
Okay.
That's good to hear. Thank you, Sam.
Very good. Hello there, sir.
Hi,
How are you?
good, how are you?
Good. How can we help you?
There's not a whole lot, no. I think it's the same stuff I've talked about every time, but,
Probably recap since it's been a while.
there's still irrigation wire cap and stuff, so if you see weird cars inside the road by your fields, call us, we'll go look at them. Don't leave your valuables in your car, like, steal, they can see them. A new type of, it's like rental scam, I think out here it's more gonna be a property scam. So what they're doing is, they're gonna look and see if there's a vacant piece of property that somebody owns, and if they're who owns it, they'll reach out to a title company, they'll convince them that they own the land. It's a whole long big thing, but if you see like your neighbor's field or something goes up for sale and you didn't expect it, go ask them. Because they might not even know that there's now a sign that says their property's for sale, and if you go online, it'll be for sale. Super, I don't know how they do it, or how those companies are foolish enough to let them do everything online, but it's a new thing. There's still all the road closures going on. That's it. That's all that I have for new things.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
We have, what's the word I want to use? They want us to sign that we take, that you guys are authorized to uphold all of our ordinances and that when you,
JPA?
yeah,
Yes, sir.
joint powers agreement, excuse me, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. How much do you know about that?
None. That's all an admin
Okay.
thing. Admin takes care of actually getting them in, and then there's,
That's all we have to do is sign this agreement, and that way you guys are authorized, if you get a call out here, to uphold our ordinance and that you do.
correct.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yes. No, as long as there's a joint power agreement signed with the office. I think it's every year though, so I don't know when that's.
So we have to do this before the 31st this month.
There you go.
Yeah.
No.
In other words, we need to do it tonight.
No, that would be, I'm sure there's some admin in the office that takes care of it, but I don't know what
Okay.
that is, to be honest.
Okay. I was just going to clarify it with you.
Yes, yep, that JPA is what allows us to be able to enforce your ordinances.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Anybody else have anything else for it?
No. Anything from our audience?
You're sure welcome to say something.
I don't know how to see if they do.
I don't think it was you last time you were here, but they talked about speeders and that out here. And I see you've got a couple of machines up in that in the area.
Wasn't me?
Okay. Have you gotten any?
Out here in 240th?
Well, on 240th or Blaine,
I don't ever get people on this road. I was here last time, you said there's always people speeding, and I go on this road probably 10 times a day, and I don't ever get any.
Okay.
Maybe because there's no one out here at that time, I can tell you that.
Well, I know they got a couple on Blaine, because I see flash lights.
On Blaine,
Yeah.
the north of 240th or south? It's usually-
Yeah, it was right around 250.
Yeah. That's where speed trailers are.
Yeah, exactly, there's two of them out there, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, that was not I. That was my partner.
okay.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Anything else?
I think we're good, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir. As long as we're on the break with the sheriff, you know, nothing for him. How do we do on getting reimbursed from the state? Have they gotten back to you at all on that reimbursement? For that $1,000 that we had to spend to move the tree off of Highway 3?
I have not heard anything back from him. I was actually gonna email him today to see what was going on, and I
Sure.
got sidetracked.
Busy, that's fine. No,
So,
just, yeah, so we should probably, follow up on that and just see how they're doing on getting us reimbursed. That's it, that's all I got on that.
Is there anything, I know Russ isn't here as far as the road report. Anybody have anything?
The only thing is, I did talk to Mark from Inspectron on the Harris one where we can't seem to get any progress on his driveway that he put in illegally.
Okay,
Mark said all we have to do is send him a letter stating that he's in violation of his driveway permit, and he'll basically won't get a home occupancy permit. So he said he'll have to rectify the situation.
this is the one up on 250 where the new house is going in?
No, it's just, it's off of Lane. Is it 250?
Yeah, it's 250.
Yeah,
okay.
Yep, that's the one.
Okay, okay.
Yep, you're
Well, it
right.
looks like it just rocks in the ditch or whatever.
No, he came, well, that was the one where Bryce and I went out there. We met with the guy and we said, you can't put the driveway here because you gotta be 50 feet from the property line.
Okay.
And he's like, that's where I'm putting it, because our official road inspector told him where to put the driveway. They put a stake in the ground, he said, well, we put it where the stake is. So as far as we're concerned, we put the driveway in the right location. But now they put the culvert pipe in, they put the rock in, they've done everything.
Okay. Well, let's leave it up to him then, if he's the one that's gonna take care of it.
We have to send him a letter.
Okay,
And we have to send him a letter just stating that he has not gotten his driveway has been put in.
did he get a permit to put the driveway in?
He got it, but Bryce and I went out there and said, you can't put the driveway in.
Okay,
But he said, I'm doing it anyways.
okay.
So he has not rectified it.
So,
So Mark said if we sent him a letter stating that the driveway was installed
illegally?
illegally or not to code or whatever we want to state,
Okay.
then Mark would basically tell them, you know what, I don't think he's going to go out there and make them stop construction, but he's not going to give them their occupancy permit until they move the
Until it's
driveway,
correct.
until the driveway is correct.
Okay, so,
We'd have to have the clerk send a
I was
letter.
gonna say, we're gonna have Jaylene send him a letter.
Or if we want to, if we want to wait until we get a new clerk in the next month, we could always postpone this till next month.
Can we afford to postpone it? I mean, if he's.
Why would we wait?
I was gonna say,
No, I just,
I
Jaylene's the stack.
yeah, I know that,
Yeah.
but I think she can have time to write a letter, right, Jaylene?
yeah, who do you want me to send a letter to?
It would go to the property in question there on 250th Street.
What is it, Harris, I forget which name, Fred Tom.
I don't
No,
know.
it's not Tom, no, Dan Harris,
Dave Harris?
pardon?
Is it Dave Harris?
I cannot.
It could be, we'll have to look at it.
How close to the property line is the driveway? Is it well within 50 feet?
It's about 15 feet.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it. Okay,
It's right at the corner.
okay.
And again, Bryce explained it to him, I explained it to him. We even had the permit. And so then he got out a state measure, and Bryce and me both looked at it, and it's like, you really want to measure this? And the guy's like, all right, that was probably not. Like, he said, I know it's like 10, 15 feet from
So do we send a letter to the inspector or the homeowner?
to the inspector.
To the
And then
inspector.
Mark will say, I
Overall.
received a letter from the township, your driveway is not in compliance.
Okay.
I will not be able to give you an
Well,
occupancy.
so this is easy then, we just send in a letter to the inspector.
To the
Okay.
inspector.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry, we did not need
Inspect, so
Harris.
that would be
Right,
inspector
right.
on.
I mean, we need to tell the
Right.
inspector on
whose it is,
whose it
yes.
is.
Okay, and you said it was like for the Harris on 250th?
Right.
I'll have to.
Yeah,
figure
so
that
if you
one
look
out.
up that permit and then just let Mark know.
So if we just have to send him a letter, that's fine, that makes this easy.
Yeah, we need a motion on that.
Yeah, I would say we should have a motion on that.
Could it be an email?
Mark wanted something in writing, he said.
I was gonna say, let's do it the other way. So is there a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to send Inspector on a letter that the driveway on the Harris property is not in compliance.
Okay. Is there a second?
Brian will second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. One other thing is, I know we talked about this a couple times, and money for weed control. I had one of my neighbors call me night before last. He says, Norm, I took the initiative. He said the road out by our places, there's a mile each way. I sprayed every yellow parsnip there was on both sides of the road. He said I took it on my own initiative because he says, I don't want them on my property, I don't want them in the ditch. So he sprayed them all. And I asked him what he sprayed. He just put a concoction together and sprayed them. He did a nice job. I think he killed everyone. Should we have every resident do that? You know, but he's got a side-by-side with a tank. I'm wondering if he wouldn't be interested in doing some of our other bad spots.
Yeah.
And I want to see what you guys' opinion was on that.
Were we having issues finding somebody to do that?
Well, Bryce said he'd do it.
He said he was going to give us some estimates and that, and he never has yet. At least Russ never gave us it.
Well, I will question if Russ has gotten in touch with him and put this together. Because I never had a problem getting a quote from Bryce on any work that I ever asked.
I think that was the night Bryce was sitting here, we asked him for that.
Okay, I don't know.
I believe so. We did have an estimate from another company a while ago.
That was really high, wasn't
And
it?
yeah, I believe it was too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Well, maybe ask your neighbor what he would charge us to do it. And then
I know he's not going to be licensed in that though, you know.
And that's the problem is.
There's the problem. And I don't know if he'd want to do
Yeah.
Well, then there's liability.
it. Exactly, you
We don't
know.
need a licensed applicator to do that.
And since Russ isn't here, it's pretty hard to talk about it because I don't know what he's done or what he hasn't done, you know.
Well, you just want to call Russ tomorrow and have him remind him to give us some information.
I can do that.
Because eventually, at the rate we're moving on this, we don't have to worry
Well,
about
put it this way,
the winter will be here.
they're all going to have seed right now, I think, already. I really do believe that. If we would have got this a little bit done sooner, we'd been.
So do you even want to spray them this year then? Because it,
I don't know if they're mature enough that the seed is gonna grow. I mean, now that he sprayed these, I think I got 2-3 other neighbors now, they cut all their ditches. Are they spreading them or are they cutting them? I don't know. It's gonna be a toss-up,
right.
you know?
Because even if we need
We'll
to,
take a look at it.
Well, after the sun goes down, I could, yeah.
because even if we approve this, we wouldn't approve it until our second meeting in July, and then it happens sometime in August.
I was gonna say now
Well, it's that-
they're saying the best time to spray them is in the fall anyhow, so.
Oh, okay.
It's,
That's, I don't know anything about it.
it's something we maybe should,
So let Norm make that call to Russ and.
I'll see what I can find out.
Yeah, have Russ get in touch with Bryce and see what the story is.
Should have them ask Bryce about his contract too.
I can do that.
Yeah,
I gotta call Russ. I should call Bryce then too. Okay, I can take care of that. Okay, review technology, we have that all taken care of, Sam, right?
Actually, I thought of 2 more things as I was going through my list here that I just found.
Okay.
If I can throw that in real quick.
Okay,
It's simply do business, just do things I'm gonna recommend. Router and Ethernet cables. So, a while back when we did the proposal, I had a whole thing about upgrading the network structure and things like that. I'm holding off on that for right now. We said it wasn't in budget. But one thing I would recommend looking at is the router we have back there. It's an old Netgear. I would recommend upgrading that sometime soonish. Just part of the issue I think we were having with the live stream when we very first started is how much that can handle, and also I don't know if anyone knows how old that thing is. It looks like it's probably about 3 or 4 years model-wise. Most residential class routers last about 3 years, 5 at the absolute most. There is only reason I know about this is I just found it earlier today. Unified, who I recommend for all the business class stuff, has a router that they just put out, it's Unified Express 7, that has Wi-Fi capabilities built into it as well. I would recommend getting that, simply for the fact that it acts like a router we have back there, and even residential class routers are right around that 100 to 150 for a good one at this point. Along with having the ability then to access it remotely, manage it, things like that. So if there's issues going on with the device, it can be seen if there's an internet issue. We can see all that right on a dashboard, very easy to do. So that's the first thing I got there. Is I recommend upgrading that sometime soon. And the one I recommend is Unify Express 7. It is $200 on Unify's website. $199 specifically, but $200. The second thing that I have that I forgot to mention, and I just thought about this looking at the camera, Ethernet cables. Right now, there's no Ethernet port in this room, period. There's no cable running from the router. Everything in here is based on Wi-Fi. That camera currently is hooked up to the computer through a 100-foot Ethernet cable, and that is how it's running. To make things smoother and easier, I recommend getting 2 Ethernet ports put into this room. A cable running up to the top where the camera is at. The camera can hardline into the network, and then that allows for settings to be changed on here, so the computer doesn't have 2 weird internet things going on. Because right now, one port for the internet is configured to the camera, the other one's the Wi-Fi in the back. Getting that hooked up means that that is now on the network versus just on this computer, which also means that this computer is not trying to fight 2 networks at the same time. I would also recommend a second Ethernet port for this computer, because having it hardline versus Wi-Fi is just better connectivity. It is not something I can legally put in to run an Ethernet cable. You have to have a low voltage license if you're doing it as a business. If you're doing it as an individual, and you're doing it in like a home or a property that is yours, that's a whole other thing. I just can't do it myself for this business. So if somebody here has an electrician that would do it, or something like that, or if I come in one day and it's there, I'm not gonna ask questions, but those are the 2 things I would recommend the board take in mind, is upgrading that router, and then seeing about getting at least 1, if not 2 Ethernet ports in this room. And if you want more information on what that would take, I'd be more happy to give that. But those are the 2 things I just remembered. My apologies, I didn't get that earlier.
The only local guy I know is, what's his name over there lives on the same street I live on, Squeegee. It's the only electrician I know in Casper. There might be more. Oh, God, I should know it.
I don't know his first name.
He applied for a permit to put a shed up.
The guy that just built the new house over by Russ Elmer, you mean on the corner?
No, he lives up on Marion Avenue.
No,
There's a couple,
Dan.
Sweegee.
Dan
Oh, Dan Sweejik?
Dan Sweejik.
Yeah,
How do you spell his last
Danny?
name?
Huh?
How do you spell his last name?
Soweja, I think. Would there be anything, if we've used an electrician before, would there be anything in your treasurer's report? Any place?
I know when we did the flight on the flagpole, I believe we had Harvest Electric. They're right on 86, down by Ram.
Okay,
Well, let me see if I can contact with Dan and ask him if it's something he wants to do. If it sounds like he's interested in Sam, then I'll reach out to you and you can just provide me of
What needs to happen? Perfect.
what we need.
Yeah,
Where we're running from
Then
stuff.
we can look at what it would cost to do it.
Do you have any recommendations of what, that you work with or anything?
Well, now is low voltage, you don't have to be an electrician to do low voltage.
You have to have a low voltage license.
In Minnesota is one of a few states you have to have a low voltage license if you're running it in a business or in a professional capacity. If you're running it through your own home, you do not legally need to have one.
Right.
You just take, it's like anything else, you just don't want to take the liability. But to run it, if I was to run it through somebody else's house or through a business, I would have to have a low voltage license by Minnesota law.
So are low voltage, are those people electricians?
Not necessarily.
That's what I meant, that's two
Yeah.
different fields, kind of?
Both, so electricians will have a low voltage license just for what they do. You
Yeah.
can get a low voltage license without having the rest of the electrical paid.
Okay.
That being said, the amount of schooling, because I looked into this, the amount of schooling and or requirements you have for Phil to do it, you might as well just get an electrician's license at that point.
Okay.
So I'll reach out to Dan and we'll just kind of see what he says. If he doesn't, not interested, then I'll take the next step and try to find somebody, just get a quote.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 local
If-
electricians.
Yeah, if we're gonna have Dan or anybody else come down and do that work, should we ask them about changing out those light fixtures in that meeting room?
Get all the ones.
Yeah.
You can't buy the diffusers
Covers.
for them anymore,
Oh,
and you can buy a whole light fixture for not much, and so as long as they're coming down, might as well have them give us a quote on that too. And isn't the women's bathroom, isn't the light?
That one's bad
in there
too.
too?
Yeah, it's
So-
giving us trouble.
Yeah, so we need a new light fixture in the bathroom in the small conference room.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Since he's here, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
And then to answer your question there, I do have an electrician I do work with, so if there isn't someone local who's available, Mike with N. Jones Electric is who I use for all of my stuff. And he's been solid in everything I've had him do. So if no one local is able to, that's what I recommend reaching out to.
all right, well, I'll check with Dan and
Okay,
see if we can get something together for cost.
okay.
Sweet.
So-
And then for that router, I don't know if you guys want to think on that or decide tonight or whatnot.
You said it's 199?
$199 for it, yep.
What's your thoughts, upgrade?
I think it would be worth it now that we're live streaming.
If we're going into it, I don't know that $200 is gonna make it or break it, right? I think we should.
It's much cheaper than the other options. So for reference, going with that would be a good start right now. For what I had presented last time, I'd still recommend doing something like that in the long run, but this will be a nice step in between that's not gonna break the bank. It'll at least, that thing's gonna go when you don't want it to, and it's already given us issues on a couple instances, so that would be the reason I'd recommend sooner rather than later.
So with that being said, do I have a motion to upgrade the router?
Brian will make the motion based on Sam's recommendation of updating the router to the $200 router with MP.
Motion's been made, is there a second?
Pete will second it.
Pete seconds it. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, so we're gonna upgrade.
Cool. I will send the link to get that ordered to Julian, I'd rather have you guys order so the warranty's with you and not with me.
Okay.
And then once that's ordered in, I'll come and get that installed. It'll be a relatively easy thing. I can tag it in with anything else I need to have done to keep the hours minimal on that.
Okay. That it?
That's it. Those are the 2 things I forgot. So thank you for keeping the extra time.
Okay. Next thing on our agenda is residential complaints.
So, I know I asked, Nikki to put this on the agenda. And I know last time we had that, there was discussion about, anonymous complaints versus a form. Apparently we had a form to fill out for complaints. I think if it comes to zoning issues, I don't know that it should matter if it's anonymous or not, because I totally understand that, you know, if you're somebody's neighbor, you're their neighbor, or even down the road or whatever, that there's reasons why you wouldn't want to remain anonymous. So I don't think that just because it's anonymous, we shouldn't take it serious or address any of the issues that were outlined in the complaint. So I don't know, if we want to readdress what was brought up.
Well, it's kind of surprising that you brought this up again, because when we did talk to Andrew, and we said, you know, we have a policy that complaints and stuff and that they have to be signed and stuff. And this was a joint conversation with myself, Pete, and Andrew. And he says, ordinance before policy. So if you know there's a violation, he says it's your right. that you should go after the violation if there's a signed complaint or not. That's what he told us. So, I think we have to follow up on the complaint, where, signed or not, because he says if you know there's a violation there, that they don't have permits, they should go through the process just like anybody else. That's what he told us. He said always ordinance comes before policy.
That's good to know.
And then I even questioned it, so I called him out to him, and he told me the same thing, ordinance before policy.
So when I've been in training, they talked about the same thing. But we, you know, they did a whole presentation on ordinance enforcement and why it's important for us to do it. Technically, we don't even need the complaint. The problem is, we all know that there's all these violations in this township, and we all put our blindfolds on to it.
Well, I guess, like he says, if you get a complaint from a neighbor, you should follow up on it. You know, I mean, I don't think we wanna drive up and down the road and point at everybody. But if the neighbors are having issues, I mean, I had the neighbor that was talking about noise from guns or something. Well, somehow or another, if they found out about it or whatever, but I talked to him yesterday, and he says, I haven't heard a shot since we've had our last meeting or whatever. So if someone knew it was brought up or whatever, he says, I haven't heard a thing. Stopped completely.
Good.
You know, so that part is good. I mean, I agree with you. I drive around the township and I see some places and,
Like that place across from Dave Nicolai's house. I mean, he's running a trucking terminal and a truck repair center out there.
well, then maybe that's something we need to address. I mean, it's just like the guy right east of here, you used to see all the vehicles from demolitions or whatever, derbies or whatever.
But have we got any complaints from,
We have not gotten complaints there, but,
whereas right now?
being the first residence though next to the town hall, and it's growing week after week. I suppose once the fairs go on, I don't know if it's gonna get better or worse, I don't know. But, yeah, I understand what everybody's saying, but,
I mean, I ran into those people at the, they had an open house at the dog kennel for the new owners. And several of the residents there that live on that street, you know, they came up and brought it to my attention that it's like, what are you guys ever gonna do about all those junk cars sitting in that yard? I mean, and they've been there for a long time. They're up on wood blocks, motors are missing. And I said, we need a complaint file, you know, and then again, they get in, and I agree with you, then they get into the old, okay, well, now it's just gonna be neighbor against neighbor then. So basically, that's what's gonna happen, and I go, unfortunately, I
Well,
mean,
that's why I feel it's important, whether it's anonymous, that if somebody comes up to you and says something like that, to well, just tell them, you know, send an anonymous email to the town hall. And then, so that at least then the board is aware to address it.
I mean, when my neighbor said, you know, it was all shooting and shooting, I can understand his concern about putting in a complaint. You know, like he says, how do you know I'm not gonna be the next target, you know? But like he says, now it quit completely. So, Sandy,
Just quickly, Jerry, you had mentioned that someone came up to you at that open house and said, what are you gonna do about all these cars? They must have known you were a board member, so they brought it to your attention.
They did.
So I guess that I would say is a
that-
complaint.
right there, I would say the same thing. I would tend to agree with that.
so are we ready to send those people a letter and tell them they have to come in compliance?
And yes,
Now would be the time to do it, right?
you know, I mean,
Then we should probably send one, I mean, I don't think we hit everybody all at once. We don't want to sound like, but these are some pretty obvious ones, and I think that across from Dave Nicolai, I mean, you've driven by there, right? Have you seen the trucks out there? It's getting on, I mean, he's got semis out there that he's dismantling out in the yard. And you know, and the truck population just keeps growing and growing out there. He keeps bringing in more trucks and, you know.
So, well, I guess here's the tough question. I mean, obviously, this one is directed towards you, Jerry, on this complaint. Do you have a reply for the complainant?
Sure. What ordinance am I in violation of?
Well, you run a home business.
A home occupation, I guess you could say so.
What defines a home occupation
I've gone through there, I think I would pretty much,
versus a business? You know, 'cause I think, you know, I had notes here that I
Okay.
obviously not able to find, but,
I would say go through the home occupations then and find in the home occupation where I'm in violation of the home occupation.
well, let's see, 7.2.
I read it up, down, and around.
I guess here's where I'd like to go. Go to the planning commission.
I think first, he should remove himself from the board.
Well, while we're discussing this, it's his
Yeah.
personal stuff, I agree with that. But I'm gonna say, go to the planning commission and bring your case to them and let them decide, and we go from there. And don't you think that's a fair shake?
Will every home occupation then be required to do that?
Well, that's where they'd have to start, because say they're in violation of something, yeah, they'll have to go to the planning commission.
That's all I'm asking. I'm asking them to tell me then what I'm in violation of.
You know?
That's what I'm asking.
You know, I mean, don't you agree? That's where they'd start? Or are you gonna have them come in?
No, I think it'd be the,
This is what.
You know, if someone's in violation, you know, we have an ordinance, you know, for junk cars and stuff like that. You know, I mean,
So do you have a home occupation?
yes.
So will you be coming with the planning commission then?
In the way I understand home occupation is if you're providing, see, everybody knows I do windows inside, but the public doesn't come to my house to look at anything or purchase anything.
Yep.
That's what I view as a home occupation.
we had, it's a neighbor between me and Pete. He has a garage to fix vehicles like you. And he was reported, he had to get an IUP, and it's just him and his two boys. And he got turned in, and they made him get an IUP. He does, mainly it's all, a lot of farm trucks and cars and stuff in that. And he thought, you know, since he does a little bit of farm work too, that, you know, okay, but they didn't see it that way. You know, so, they, you know, it's, and he wasn't upset about it. He says, I had to get a permit, big deal. You know, his business was run, you know, everything's clean, you don't see no tires or anything, everything is, you know, up to par. You know, but he had to spend the money, have a permit, and now he feels great, you know, so. I mean, he did get turned in, and they did make him get a permit. I mean, so.
So would we have Andrew, would he be the one that would, you know, for these other residents that Jerry talked about over by Dave and by, I don't know their names, that dog kennel or whatever, that just send out a letter, hey, it's come to our attention, you're in violation of our ordinance, whatever it is, and then send that letter to them and ask them to come into compliance?
I don't know if we have to have legal do it. Both lawyers told me, Andrew and Matt attorney, they said, if you're gonna turn them in, make sure they're in violation. You know, because if it's not, then, I mean,
So then what we're asking then is for Jerry to go in front of the planning commission, just to verify that he's in violations,
well,
to get approval for.
it's,
So every home I would assume we want to treat everybody fair, every home occupation should have to do that then, I would think.
So when they came in for a permit,
That's if they have a permit, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I mean, so,
you know,
But maybe-
we're addressing a written complaint, so that's the one, you know, we can speculate who has business, who doesn't,
right,
but we haven't gotten any complaints on that.
right.
Now,
Now, like you say, you had a report from them over there and stuff in that, so.
I agree with Brian, because I always understood from attorneys, we need to have a complaint on hand, in hand, has to be here in town hall. And then we act.
Again, my question is that nobody will be able to answer is, what ordinance am I in violation of?
The one I would see is, most home occupations, you're not allowed to have clients come to your property. Like Pete says, he's got a business, but he goes to someone else's house and puts the siding on. He put the siding on my house. The siding came right from the company, delivered right in my place, does not go to his place. You know,
So the lady that does hair in her basement, then, she can't do that?
I would say she needs a permit because she's got people coming to her residence, yes.
Does it actually say in our ordinance that if people come to you, that you can't?
So when I looked online at the ordinance, 60.06B2, intent for CI allowed 6.07B2, and the other one's performance standards against would be 7.02 E, G, and I, home occupations.
But what exactly,
I don't have, I just have this one here, I don't have the,
okay, so you say it was 7.02?
I believe that's what it was.
Pull it up here.
But again, is this, we can resolve this here?
Okay, so home occupations. A, home occupations on the premise shall be conducted solely by persons residing in the residence. That's me. I'm the only one that works there. All occupational activities and storage shall take place within structures on the premises or conducted off the premises. I work inside the shop. I don't work out in the yard. No reason to do that. There shall be no alteration to the exterior of the residential dwelling, accessory building, or yard that in any way alters the residential character of the premises. No hanging signs or anything like that, so nothing there, no signs, no display. And that, the occupation shall not be visible or audible from the property line while I'm inside. The occupation shall not involve retail, sale, or rental of products on the premises. And that, I don't know what you'd consider retail sale. I don't really sell anything. 90% of the work I do, I don't even take cars in from the general public. If you guys are thinking I'm on a car repair shop, I don't take the general public in. I work for Max. 90% of the stuff I do is for Max. And then he brings me cars and that's what I work on.
But you still have the 10% that you do for me.
Sure. And again, I'm asking which one of these am I in violation of? And we're just saying, well, we can't pick one that you're in violation of, so we'll just say, well, in general, you're in violation. Let's see, unless completely enclosed within an approved structure, no vehicle used in the conduct of the occupation shall be parked, stored, or otherwise present at the premises. I don't know, Pete, I've been to your house, there's some trailers sitting outside, right?
Yep.
Okay. Only on-site, off-street parking. Okay. And then, well, we got a violation on my street also that we should probably we'll have to look into. We're gonna really open up a can of worms here if you guys wanna go down this road, but I'm willing to do that. And then across the street from my house, then there's an LLC corporation running, and that corporation uses the street for all their public parking, so we'll have to get on top of that and get rid of that.
What is run there?
You should know, you're part of it, Kathy Johnson's house, she has an LLC, that's a business, right?
Well, no, it's, I don't know if you.
Hold on, it's an LLC, but it's not a business, it's a limited liability corporation, but not a business.
Okay.
And that, so therefore, the bottom line
We
is,
don't have meetings there, Jerry.
but you were having meetings there, in Park on the
Did,
street.
but we are no longer having meetings there, so
Okay.
that's resolved.
But Jerry, you shouldn't be discussing this, I mean, this is.
All right, well,
This is, something you shouldn't be talking about right now.
then my official position would be is turned over to the attorney then.
Sandy?
I agree with Pete. The reason that we wanted complaints in writing is if we get enough of them because a citizen is doing something illegally and there's enough people upset and we have enough documentation, you need that when you go to court.
So what would it take for Jerry to be in compliance? IEP?
That's it.
So that's just gonna.
The last car repair person who came in, that's what they got.
Yeah.
Why don't we just-
He came in, had his meeting, no one complained, he paid for the permit, and he went on to his business.
Is there anything in our ordinances at all about car repairs shops? Does anybody know? Somebody's telling me that, and I'm not sure that's true, because I don't remember reading that anyplace.
I'd have to go back and review.
We just went through the ordinance manual, I never saw anything.
I don't recall anything. There could be, but we've been going through it and I don't recall anything.
Okay, all right.
Not yet
Just
anyway. We
asking the
still
question,
got
I don't know.
50 pages to go,
Myself.
maybe. I don't know.
So Keith, Brian, where do you think? What are you gonna do?
You suggested going before the planning commission to verify.
Well, we have a complaint on hand, I
We
suppose.
do have a complaint on hand, it's not signed. You know, that we do. I mean, we have it, everybody's seen it, you know? So, like the lawyer said, if you got a complaint, ordinance before policy, I believe we should look into it. Do we let the planning commission decide if he's in violation or not? Or do we, if we go call the lawyer and spend money, now the residents are paying for all the legal expenses? Unless there was a complaint that we can collect an escrow to pay for the lawyer. We don't need more legal fees, in my book.
Well, we need to find some way to resolve any complaints we get.
Right. I think if we get one, I mean, the last meeting, there wasn't even one on file when we sent them. We asked them to come in.
Yeah, and he did.
I think we should get an opinion of the planning commission on complaints we get turned in. We have one on file.
And then go from there.
Yeah.
If they want to recommend we go to legal, we go to legal. But I don't know, I just don't want to put our budget in jeopardy with legal fees.
Right.
That's the last thing I want to do.
And I don't want to have a complaint on hand and we just brush it off. We don't do anything. I think that's a bad
And I think
precedent.
especially if what the complaint is against a board member, that's not a good look to just sweep it under the rug or not address it somehow, regardless of what the resolution is.
So you guys suggesting he goes to the planning commission?
That would be my suggestion.
I would agree.
So do we have a motion on that?
Then maybe they would define the home business.
Okay. Okay.
Does it mean
I don't think we need a motion. There's nothing,
we just have that, make sure it gets on their agenda.
Yeah, there's time to get them on the next week's agenda, yeah. Yeah, you can move right along and get it done next week, and we meet 2 weeks after that. This could be done and over with in a short period of time. You know? Do we need to send you a letter to ask you
No.
to go to planning commission?
I'll come talk to the planning commission, but.
I think we should send a letter.
Let's do it legally, yeah. We'll send you a letter, but,
That's fine.
you already have notice, okay?
That's fine.
You attend the planning commission and get yourself on the agenda, okay?
That's fine.
Okay. So let's move on with that. We gotta decide, you know, if for some of these others and there's some written complaints, we're gonna have to start doing the same thing. You know?
And we should, I mean,
Yeah.
as we have.
That's what we've always done.
You know, once there's a complaint, it usually, you know, we can't just willy-nilly go after everybody. But if there's a complaint, I think we need to address it. And I guess that's what we're gonna do. Like I say, I don't wanna run the township road with legal fees. I don't wanna go down that road.
I would hope that to address them, it would just take a letter to that person from the board of supervisors saying, hey, we've been made aware you're not in compliance, please bring yourself into compliance.
Like the winery tonight.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jordan complained about the trucks next door to his place. What did the board do about it?
Well,
We didn't have a written one,
Jordan did send in, before he was on the board, he sent in a written complaint.
and we could never find it.
Okay.
Remember we asked a couple times?
Any complaint, I mean, another perfect example is going to be, if we go down this road, are we gonna address Mark Henry's house then?
I guess if there's a written complaint, we gotta do it, yeah.
Okay.
If there's a written complaint, I think so, yeah. You know, but we just can't drive up and down the road when it's just done that kind of thing.
We've had a couple attorneys tell us it shouldn't come from a board member.
You know, but.
And see now, when we were at training, they told us, the attorneys told us, that is the board members' jobs to do that. They said, you don't have a local police to go out and do this enforcement, that's the job of being a board member. Because when you see things in your township that aren't compliant, you should take the lead on that.
Is there any townships doing that?
Probably not, because of the fact that this, I agree with Norm, this is gonna blow up. This is gonna, I mean, how many people do you think are in violation of this township, and everybody's gonna start complaining? I mean, over on your street, there's somebody that's got an old junk car in their backyard. I guess we're gonna have to send them a complaint.
Okay.
You know? And that's what I'm saying is, Norm hit it right on the head. We're gonna watch our expenses just go right through the ceiling on all this. Sometimes you gotta live and let live a little bit in the country, but I'm fine if this is the road we wanna go down.
I didn't say I wanted to go down it.
Well, but it's where we are going.
I know, I mean, it's,
The guy out there with the small engines and that, you know, that sells all lawnmower parts on 240 down
Okay.
here. Is he got, yeah, well, he's got an IUP or conditional use permit.
no, and he's been called in here before. And in fact, I was on the board and I didn't like the way it went either. And he said it's a hobby. It's not a business, it's a hobby. And the rest of the board went along with it at that time. Because he's only doing it 6 months a year, the rest of the time he's down south or whatever. And he says if I make a couple of bucks, I do, and if I don't, I don't. But, like I say, I disagreed at that time, but the rest of the board said, okay. So, that's quite a few years in the past already,
Yep.
you know, but, he was called in, and that's how that one ended up, you know. But, I don't know. How do we move on? I'm not sure. I just don't wanna run the township broke with legal fees, you know what I mean?
I don't think any of us do, but I think also we don't want to not address
Well, I agree with that too, Brian, and I just don't wanna get the township out of control neither with all this stuff going on, and, you know, well, that guy can do it, I can do it too, and I think that's kind of where we are, a little bit. So we have to spend a little bit of money to kind of straighten it out, I don't know, I guess we're gonna see what happens, but.
Well, it sounds to me like we're leaving to the planning commission.
Right.
If it
So,
meets that requirement.
we'll send you a letter and,
That's fine.
get yourself on the planning commission, okay?
That's fine.
We'll go from there. Okay, let's move on. Yes, sir, how can we?
How you doing?
Good, yourself?
Good.
You opened up all the roads, right?
We're closing more. Well, I got a few things for you guys. You have anything for me that you want to ask first, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask, you know as well as I do, that roundabout's not gonna be done in 3 months. How long is it gonna be?
Well, that one was supposed to be done in October, so.
I say Christmas.
You say Christmas, okay.
I drove down there last week, they hardly haven't done anything
It's
yet.
all been on the utilities is what they, the utilities is what they've been working on. And, so have you been by the roundabout down by Randolph yet?
No, I haven't been down there.
So that one's supposed to be opening up around August 15th. So they closed both of them because they were able to leverage some of the utility, but that was a 3.5 and that was a 5 project. So in the design, we'll see how well they
So
actually
you
do.
agree with me at Christmas?
Well, it's March. I don't think it's done by Halloween. Halloween is when so they pay penalties after Halloween. They pay penalties after August 15th on Randolph. So so those are the 2 dates. I think it's going to be. So I hope that we have a Thanksgiving that stays a little warm, so the asphalt plants can stay open a little longer. Is my hope, because when we did the one up in Goodwin in '46, it opened up Thanksgiving week. So I think it's going to be Thanksgiving week. But I'd like to see it done by Halloween.
Is the county gonna help us with 275th and somewhere?
Have you had a call? Have you called Janine lately? Who's
We
wrong?
haven't heard from anybody lately.
Russ.
Russ.
Okay.
He's not here tonight.
And I gave him Janine's phone number and cell phone. So, you know, Todd Howard retired.
You know?
Todd would have been the person. In the interim, they hired a new Todd Howard, but he's still learning all the ropes of it. So for this construction season, Janine Burrell is the person who's been in contact. And Russ and I spoke about a month or so ago, and he's like, who's my Todd Howard contact? And I gave him, I texted him both the.
Would you give that to Jay?
I'd be happy to do that as well. Yeah, before we all.
Yes.
So I would have got her direct phone number and her email.
Okay.
And she'll be the one to contact. And then if you have problems after that, what I told Russ, and I'll tell any of you, call me then. So if they're, you know, Todd was so easy to work with. He got stuff done and all that, and he was always fair. He was like, yeah, we got to do more. We don't do more. I don't know how it'll be. Janine has never been in this role working with townships in this part, but she's been with the county for 30 plus years, so she knows construction, but she doesn't necessarily mean she knows how to do.
She doesn't know the people.
The people, yes, and she's only in it for 1 season, and then she's going back to her job she always has done.
Okay.
So, and then the new person will be back there. So it's a 1-year thing. So if Russ is not having any luck, I don't know if he's followed through with her,
I don't know neither.
but I will get the numbers so that you all can do it. And I'll let you.
We had complaints here last week.
Yep.
You know, everybody said the semis and everything and that, you know, it was unbelievable. If it's changed any sense, I know my wife said she drove 275th yesterday.
Yep.
And it's horrible.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we don't have enough money in the budget to keep that road up with the way they're using it.
With how it's going to use over this year.
Yes.
Yep.
You know? And is this roundabout a state project or a county, is it split?
It's split.
Okay.
50-50. It's, to give you some perspective, one of the agencies would take the lead. Like, so for example, when they do the roundabout down in Waterford Township at 3 and 47, the state is going to do the project, but the county's going to have to pay for it, pay their portion. These two, the county said that they would use the county staff to do the project, and then the state's going to go and we send a bill to the state for half the project.
You think a roundabout is the answer down by 3 and 47?
That's what that's what the state's gonna put there. They're gonna do another one at 62 and 61. So,
Oh, my word.
so,
Be a lot of roundabouts.
yeah, well, and then you got the one on 78 coming in and I don't know who's in charge of that one, if that's state or if that's county. I know that the county has the money for their portion of 78 to do what, 78 will eventually have a roundabout that the state is putting in, but I don't know if it's gonna be like this one where the county will, so.
On 3?
On 3, roundabout there, roundabout 86, roundabout 47. All 3 county roads will have roundabouts at some point.
I don't know if that's good.
I don't know either, I'm just, they never asked my opinion on engineering, so
Okay.
I'm more on how to pay for it, I guess.
But
So-
there's been an awful lot of accidents out here,
Yes, yeah.
you know?
Well, and some of the reason, I had somebody recently reach out to me, because they could have kept 86 and they could have kept that intersection open with some of the work that they've done so far.
Exactly.
However, some of the accidents that happened this spring was when the utility companies were kind of blocking some side. So a couple of those accidents happened because they were trying to work while doing the job. And so what happened is this contractor made the decision that said, well, if I close it, that way you're not, because the utility company that's still moving utilities is the one who blocked the view that caused one of the accidents,
Okay.
the Nikolai Daughters accident. Was the blind side on that one was the utility trucks that were blocking the views on that part there because they were trying to move utilities on that exact one there. That was determined as the cause was you had big trucks that were in the shoulders doing work. And so that was one of the drivers why the contractor said, we're not going to be doing that much work, but we have to close it. It's a very unfortunate because I'm absolutely concerned about our local businesses that are impacted by this part here. You know, New Trier, the state shut down New Trier for 3 months, and you've got local businesses in a town of 81 people who are really struggling. We went there for dinner on Saturday night, and it was not a typical Saturday night at the Trophy House. So, but we were. And it's the same way. Castle Rock and Roll is the same way. They're struggling for multiple years in a row of the stuff here. So
Well, you know, our residents are in the same boat.
yeah.
Same thing as it was with 86, you know, and we're hearing from them,
Oh yeah.
you know, and if I lived there, I may be doing the same thing they're doing, you know? But you can talk to them and, you know, you can try to reason with them, but they're getting to the point where they don't want to reason with us anymore.
Well, and that's understandable.
It is.
And I would be pissed as
You
well.
know, I mean, I've had a couple of them call and they said, well, you're just passing the buck. I'm not passing the buck. I'm telling them, I can't promise them anything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I can't help it that someone that's not from this area is using that as a detour. I can't.
Right. Well, and it's part of the conversation. Nor you weren't on the, Mr. Chair, you weren't on the board, but the town board had some discussions. There was a lot of accidents at the Randolph 86 and 56 right at the school year. They were fired. That was when we were doing the open houses, and they were all like, "Get this done tomorrow." So and that was at the same time that the Castle Rock board was like, "Can you give us a reprieve and a break?" Even we're like, "Well, actually, the accidents are worse over here than they have been over there." So we said we really think the answer is still to do it for 2 years, even though it has been incredibly painful. I would make the argument if you could go in, the flashing stop signs have actually dramatically improved 78 and 3. The reason why, we put the flashing stop signs in and they don't always work everywhere. I mean, they didn't work on 86, they haven't worked on they seem to have reduced the number of accidents.
It's helped out.
It has helped out a lot there, and the signs, and so I would hope that, with our resources, that maybe we give a little bit of break on Highway 3 in Castle Rock to be able to go in and say, let's plan that one out a little bit later. And that is actually a discussion that's happening with the state saying, they have so many projects and we have so many projects, could we just leave this area alone for a couple of years?
So have you heard complaints from the railroad that the truck's hitting the bridge?
I haven't, no.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
I'm sure we will.
yeah.
Yes, I have not. More of it just has been just the detours in general. We've tried to put up the big billboard signs and the speed signs, and honestly, it's been mostly speed that I've had the complaints on, and we've been trying to rotate the flashing speed signs. They're all on these roundabouts, so every one the sheriff has, even though we have other areas that they probably should be going in the district, they're all on the on here. We're using all 3 of them here. In fact, we're renting a couple on some other parts because of the speeds that are going elsewhere. But we thought we could just leave it for like a week or 2 and then move it around.
Yeah.
We did that, and it was like it went like, it was like nothing changed. But when the speed sign was there, people actually kind of did a better job. And then we pulled the sign away and they're like racetrack. So we made the decision that, so that was Janine's decision to go and say, I think we gotta keep them out there.
Okay.
Because they, you know, parts of 47 and parts of Lane and.
I was gonna say, your officer was here tonight, and I mentioned, you know, he's got two of them over on Blaine and that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they're not perfect, but they have talent.
they slow people down.
They do, the neighbors who called initially said, please do something, and we're working with it, and they had a lot of challenges with the transportation, saying, it's a detour, you just gotta deal with it, but then when myself and the sheriff got involved, we had a little bit better success in saying, if these are working, we gotta make this a priority, because this is gonna be tough, and that's why at least getting the 86 and 56 open up as soon as possible is gonna go in and free up some of that detour traffic.
If we don't have that one freed up by fall with that elevator over there, you're gonna have major concern.
Well, they're already, I went down there last night, because I went down to Billsby after another meeting I had, and they already have a good chunk of the storm sewer pipe already laid.
Okay.
Which is about, from where they were promising, they're about a week behind, but
Okay.
with this contractor, you always expect them to be a few weeks behind, so.
You know that- you don't have that case over here.
So the fact, and they were only behind, since the pipe arrived, they have been gangbuster on it and doing really well, but the pipe arrived a week late, so.
Okay.
Which it is what it is on materials, but they've really, so they're, but they also know that their incentives are, because school's gonna start earlier because of the late Labor Day, schools are starting earlier. So Randolph that was one of the things they closed on they shut it down the last day of school for Randolph, and it's gonna be open by the time school starts, and the elevator, so.
Okay.
So one will be better there, so that was one of my conversations I wanted to talk about,
Okay.
was just what's kind of going on there. Also just very brief, but Hampton is just getting a mill and overlay through the city of Hampton this coming this next 10 days, just so you're aware. Pretty much from the four-way stop at the church all the way to the other side of the interchange. They're gonna just do the 2-inch mill and overlay and then do some concrete work. So I think what they've been able to do is it's gonna be down to one lane for a couple of the days. One time this week, they're gonna go in and they're doing concrete work, and then they are gonna mill it all, and then they'll sweep it, and then next week is a plan to put the overlay on there. So it should be a very quick project. It's not a big project, but there, just to give you a heads up, that there will be delays if you're cutting through Hampton next week, and later this week, that's gonna be, I went through there today with no problem, but, and I was there yesterday on my way to Billsby, so it is getting, but it's very quick. Unlike this one, it's gonna be months, that one is a week, so, but that's in your area. Do you have more things?
Well, I'm gonna go back to my original question.
Yeah.
Is there gonna be help for us because of 275th, getting a beating from all this?
I think that what we had between the chloride and the gravel, that was, like what we've done like last year and all that, I was of the understanding that was still happening. You're
Okay.
telling me it's not. Russ, when we chatted, we went with the county, that was the commitment. There was money put into the roundabout for Castle Rock for doing this part in there, like what we've done in past years.
Okay.
That was, so that might be a lapse in communication from either the roadside here or the county, or maybe they're talking and it's just a matter of when it's getting done.
They did come up with the spring.
They did.
also.
Yeah,
It was a part of this. But I think we knew that with the beating the road gets, because of the road in itself, that it was gonna need more than once. And, because it's a little potholy, and, so I think that, you know, typically if you know our county gravel road system, we usually grade it in the spring, chloride it, we don't touch it until the fall, unlike how you do a township road, we put way too much chloride on it, so it's a really hard road.
Yeah.
But it gets potholes that way, because they don't grade it. And that is kind of just our kind of our culture. So coming there more times, or if there's a conversation, I think once or twice last year, we just went and paid Audi extra to go and do some of that part there. That was what Todd and the Audis had a good relationship, that he would just go and say, hey, you're already out there. It's a road you make. Can you do this stuff here and send the bill to the county? That's what they do down in Ravenna, or Randolph Township. With we've got some stuff around Billsby Park.
So can we have bodies when every time they do 275th, just send you a bill?
No, you need to, you gotta get the permission in there, but I think that that stuff that has happened in the past is that some of your audit, every time Audie did some of it, Todd was like, I'm authorizing you to do it, so I think that,
I mean, we gotta do something because of
Absolutely.
potholes and stuff in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's so much traffic in that there.
Yeah.
We gotta make that road at least, halfway decent.
you know, what it was in the spring.
Yeah. You know, I mean.
So, I'll get the numbers for you, and if you see Russ, or I can give him a call, just like I said, I spoke to him early in the spring to give him all the stuff, and
Okay.
if he's having especially if he's having a bottleneck where he's doing it and then nothing's happening, I'd like to get involved in that conversation.
Okay.
If it's just a matter of it's either hasn't one way or another gone to the right people, then let's get it to the right people.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, if that's the case, Jaylene or myself will be in touch with you.
perfect, yeah, absolutely. I'll include myself on the virtue, so you have a way to go meet that, so I'll get, your previous clerk had it, but I'll make sure that you have too, so.
Okay.
One thing I'd share with you all is, we're in a kind of an interesting county budget. I think you've heard me come in here a few times. Kind of a unique situation this year. We've got about 7% of a levy increase is just new federal and state shifts and mandates coming to counties, so it's a really, really weird year. We're looking at layoffs are on the table. We're looking at service cuts. We're looking at something I've never experienced before in here. In addition to that, over the past few years, we've been spending our reserve as we've had the stuff that our reserve has gotten low. So we went from when I first was commissioner, we had a reserve so high that the state auditor went and said, you need to go in and either don't raise taxes, keep your taxes low, or start spending the reserve because you're going to be a poster child for having too much money as government. Went down that point there. Well, unfortunately, the trend got to a point where we've gone below that emergency fund. So we now need to.
Now you gotta go the other way.
Now we need to go the other way, yeah. So, but what I wanted to share on a positive, as we've been literally had like 2 full days of budget meetings. At one point, the sheriff deputy patrol area was going to be on the table for targets of potential impacts of cuts. And some of you were around here knowing that we worked really hard to get 3 deputies added. There's been more demand, and there hadn't been deputies added in almost 20 years. And we got all the townships there. Townships even looked at trying to figure out a formula to help pay for some of it. And at the end of the day, the county board went and said, this is public safety, it's what we cover. There's other things we may someday come and ask townships to help pay for. This is not going to be one of them. So we've gone and did that way there. And then, unfortunately, everything was on the table. But I'm happy to report that the sheriff and the stuff here, we've been able to find a way that sheriff patrol will not be impacted in the 2027 budget. So we're not going to, we'll still have attrition, and then we got to hire, we've had that for years where someone goes and takes a job with the city and then we have to hire, so there maybe, but we will have fully funded of the same number of sheriff deputies that we've gotten for the last 3 years. So it was a large fight. The sheriff, he's highly respected amongst our board, and he came up with a couple different ideas of some things to go and do that instead. And we as a board all agreed that keeping public safety in the District 1, the patrol area, the number 1 priority, make sure that that was covered. So if you were starting to hear rumors that because there are a lot of rumors going on about potential layoffs at the county, it is not impacting public safety. So, well, it's not impacting the patrol area of public safety.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just feel like that's a good news story after 2 long, grueling days of budgets to say that.
So there are cuts coming in other areas.
Yeah, it depends on how high the board chooses to go on a levy, but yes, they are cuts, but we had a proposal to do a pretty significant cuts in social services on things, but with all those new things that had to go in there, the social services budget and employee count actually gets bigger because of the new shifts and mandates, even with removals. So we're trying to figure out ways to do that. I mean, an example of it, we looked at getting rid of the entire truancy department. When school districts have kids that aren't showing up to, there's a mandate on how you, that eventually goes to the county attorney to go and charge the parents and the kid for being truant. We've created a system that the schools get to most of the point in there, but the most severe cases went to the county, and we figured that we would be basically, and we would have, in essence, social workers that kind of help navigate that to try to not get it to go to the court, but to go in and actually change. There's usually a root cause on why someone's missing, a kid's missing 40 days of school, and you address that as opposed to go and charge them and have them go into juvenile detention, or have the parents go and pay fines or go to jail. There was better ways to do that. Well, that was we looked at going and eliminating that entire department and just say, if you get to that point, you go to the county attorney, and you have to deal with judges, and that's not a good approach. But it was $1 million in property tax savings, and the board went and said, that's things that you never think about that counties do. But we ultimately went and said, well, if we don't do it, you're just making the schools where tight budgets happening, or we're just passing the buck down and.
Exactly
yeah,
right.
yeah,
You're just passing
yeah.
it on to the school boards.
Yes, exactly. We're 85% mandated. Schools are like 96% of what they do mandated. So I was like, we can't. So that was one of the things that we saved as well. I don't know exactly how we will address that in other cuts or levy, but that's just one example that it was going to eliminate 7 positions, and we said we can't do that. So, but we're in the beginning. We're going to actually have a public open house. We're going to have a number of them, August, September, and December, on what our budgets are and where we're at. We have to set a preliminary, just like you did back in March. Counties and cities have to do that in September. So we'll set a preliminary, and then that's the highest we can go. We can go lower, but we can't go higher. And then we'll do our final in December. But we're doing in Egan, we're doing a budget open house that's going to kind of just show what these potential layoffs and what the cuts, as well as what increases would look like. We're then going to have refine that even better and have one in Apple Valley in September before we make our final decision. And then we are doing, we kind of had started a tradition to do right before our truth and taxation. Here's what the budget that we are proposing to go for. Here's what it looks like for the public. So that one would usually get about 200 people to show up to. And, most people don't come to truth and taxations, and we have found we got to be honest with it. And we're still the third lowest tax rate of any county in the whole state, so we're still pretty low on your county portion. And even if these numbers go crazy, we probably don't move, is the way it sounded.
Okay.
So on that right there. So that's just where we're at. But I just feel as though I've been visiting with townships and small cities to just be honest and transparent that we don't know what it's going to look like, but we're working very diligently and trying to figure it out, just like you all are on your challenging budgets.
We're in the same boat on the challenging budget.
Yes.
There's no doubt. I mean,
Yeah.
we cut a lot of things and we're trying to save money, but boy, it's hard. Everything costs so much.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
So I'm sorry for taking so much time, but I just wanted to, that's what I had to share with you.
Okay. I don't know if anybody else has anything.
I didn't see that.
I don't
You
No?
don't? Okay.
Okay.
I talked to Sandy just last week, so.
Okay.
So, you're good? All right, well, then I'll get the information.
Okay, I thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you guys. Yeah, have a good one.
Nice seeing you.
Okay, resident ordinance manual. Let's set up a date and have it over with. This guy's, we can't, I mean, look, we're almost 8:30 again. There's no way we're gonna look at the ordinance manual tonight. I thought we were gonna get there, but that's not gonna happen. You guys have a date, we're gonna do something, or what do you wanna do? We gotta do something. We can't just keep kicking this can down the road.
Jesus, month, we've got meetings, every week?
Do we need Russ's calendar, or do we just pick a date? And
We gotta pick a date and hope for the best. For sure that we have 3 of us here. Let's go that way.
If we
I
can
mean-
if we can stay away from Wednesdays, I'm good everywhere else.
Let's try to pick a date and hope for the best. Let's go from there.
I'm good any day but Wednesdays.
Oh, any day but Wednesday.
Yep, any day but a Wednesday. Yeah. Other than that, I'm wide
We
open.
gotta put notice up though, so we gotta have.
Right.
We gotta
I
have
agree.
that. For just this first meeting, we don't have to put that one in the paper. Public hearing we do.
Right.
Right.
If we're gonna finish the ordinance book,
I say we slam through it and get it over.
hour, 2-hour meeting, and I think we should be about done with it.
Exactly.
We're like 75% of the way.
I agree with Jerry. I say we got 2/3 of it done already in one night.
And we got the heavy stuff done.
Right. So anybody got dates you want to throw out?
Okay, well, how soon do you wanna get at it? What do we have to
My
find?
opinion, the sooner the better. Let's get it done.
It's July 14th. How many days do we have to, we gotta put it 3 days on the
Well,
door?
let's give us
Get it
10
in
days.
tomorrow, you could do pretty much any day next week.
Oh, okay. Next week, I don't care, any day but the 22nd, I'm open.
How about,
How about a Thursday, or
how was it, how about Thursday?
Thursday, 23rd, 6 o'clock?
Okay,
I don't know, sounds good to me.
Let's go with it.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, we just gotta bite the bullet.
You getting that? Thursday, Wednesday,
Twenty-third.
Or-
Wednesday, 23rd.
Thursday the 23rd at 6 o'clock?
Not Wednesday, Thursday.
Thursday, the 23rd at 6 PM.
At 6 o'clock, we said?
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
So you would want to put a posting on the door
Tomorrow.
as soon as you can. Yeah, tomorrow would be great.
It's getting done tomorrow because I'm here Thursday and I'm on vacation all next week.
Tomorrow would be
Perfect.
perfect.
And if you would throw out a reminder to the board on an email, that would be fantastic too, okay?
Well, let me look. Second and fourth. I was gonna say, do we have a meeting that Tuesday? We'd get a reminder. Nope, wrong week.
Okay. Okay, so we got that.
I just gotta post